relevant, reliable, and researched. This is Experts on Call, the show focused on delivering leading-edge news and information on today's most beneficial products and services. This is Experts on Call on AM 650.
Welcome back on the program today. We're talking about your home and in particular the roof over top of your home and how to protect your investment. Joining us in studio from Interprovincial Roof Consultants, the president, Sean Lang. Also with us is Blair Bennett, BC Regional Manager for Suprema. And Blair, I said from Chilliwack. That's where the manufacturing plant is. Where's your office?
We have an office in Cloverdale, and we have a training facility there and a small sales office. So that's where the sales guys operate out of there.
Okay, and you're also located in Cloverdale too, Sean.
Yeah, we have water cannons that shoot at each other.
It must be fun during the parades. That's the old main drag in Cloverdale too,
That's
isn't
right.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what happens here because we've talked about the sort of work that you do, the work that you do together. We've talked about different types of roofing products and the new technologies that are at play in the spring of 2014. But Sean, suppose now you get the call. You say you like getting calls, and who doesn't? Who's in business? So you get a call tomorrow. Some guy calls you up and says, "Hey, I heard you on the radio last night, and I'm a building manager, and we just had this last roofing guy, and it was an absolute disaster, and yet we still need some attention. Mm-hmm. So can you come out?" And
Absolutely.
you're going to say, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's the process? When you get out to that guy's establishment or his building, what are you going to do for him?
Well, basically, the first step is, as you said, we have that conversation on the phone and we find out what his issues are. And in the case that you're describing where he's had a roofing contractor on the building and they've done some work and it's questionable,
Right.
Which I get that phone call quite a bit. We can go out and review the work that's been done and review the inside of the building for the any leakage that's occurred or anything else that the client is disturbed about, and what's caused him to be suspicious of the work done by the roofing contractor, because most people wouldn't recognize good work over bad work.
Given our limited knowledge of all things roofing in the first place.
Quite often it's just the performance and actions of the contractor that tell them something wasn't right.
Okay.
So they don't necessarily know that their work wasn't right, but they just feel something was a little off. The guy was a little hinky or whatever.
Right, gotcha.
So we'll come out and we'll review the work and we'll write up a condition report that actually tells the owners what has occurred on the roof system and what the current status of it is.
Right.
So if there was repair work done, we can tell them whether or not that repair work was done properly, if it'll buy them the time that it was intended to provide them with, and the remainder of the roof system, is it worth doing further repair work? Because quite often people will try to put Band-Aids on a roof system. In reality, they're chasing a problem, and they're only going to keep on spending money to preserve a roof system which really is failing badly. And with a roof system, their lifespan is basically the first 5 years is ultra stable.
Right.
Then they move into a sort of a 10-year stable phase where there's degradation and deterioration, but it's not really that bad. It's not accelerating at a standard, very strong pace. But then it falls into a very speedy deterioration process towards the end of its life.
The downhill slope is pretty swift.
Just like us, right?
Yeah.
So it's at that point where you're now chasing a problem, and you might spend a lot of money that you're not really getting any value out of.
And Blair's nodding vigorously as you're describing. Particularly, you really started tweaking on the putting Band-Aid solutions to a roof, patching here, patching there.
Yeah.
Just little spot stuff, Blair, instead of stepping back and taking a look at the big picture and spending the money a little smarter.
Well, I mean, everything's available to everybody on the internet, right? They think Google saves everything, and maybe you try to do something yourself, or you type in roofers in Surrey or whatever,
right,
and spin the big wheel, and you call out 5 guys to look at your roof. You're going to get 5 different aspects of, well, I'm going to do this, and maybe he writes it on the back of his business card, here's what it is. And
right.
It says 2-ply SBS re-roof, $5,000, $10,000, whatever the amount is.
Right.
And then another guy takes due diligence and he lays it out a little better and maybe goes into much more detail, and it's twice as much as that guy. And you get all these, different things happening and then you don't have a guy like Sean or another professional there kind of being the referee of these 5 guys.
Right, exactly.
If Sean were there, or another consultant would put out a baseline, this is what needs to get done. This is how I want that done. These are the materials I want used. Then you get the bid from those 5 guys. Then you can make an educated decision.
Right, right. Now, Sean, I probably told you this before. I have a friend who used to be the Strata Council president in Kitsilano of a group. It was a maybe 18, 20 unit strata, smallish building. And she found that, of course, the hardest parts were of her job were getting people to comply with the special levies and surprise money requirements. But she said the most frustrating part of her job as the president of the Strata Council was relying on experts. For example, and she used roofing. We had dinner, and she told me about this. She used a roofing situation. They had a roof problem. Now, as is the case with most of us, nobody in the strata knew anything about roofs. She was the president. It sort of fell on her shoulders to get that thing organized. So she entered this whole area completely blind and had to trust strangers.
Yep.
And so, you know, sometimes it was hit and miss. She said some of the jobs turned out great and others were not so great. So in many cases, what people like my friend need to know about is people like you, consulting professionals
Exactly.
who can coordinate information and present a full package complete with, as Blair was saying, maybe 5 different people have 5 different opinions about what should be done to your roof. But if you filter that through a consultant, then the person who's ultimately charged with making the decision stands a chance, Sean, of making a good decision.
Well, and they can be confident that they know that the decision that they're presenting to the owners of the building is actually an educated decision.
Yeah.
Right? So we definitely help people however they want to attack the project, whether they want to call us in the beginning, which is what we prefer, and then we can walk them through the process and do it properly. Or if they've already gotten 5 bids, and they want us to review those 5 bids and try and help them through the process from that point.
You can pick it up from there?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
And we'll, as Blair said, we'll tell them that the guy who wrote it on the back of a business card, I think you might want to give him the door. But the guy that's put together a proper scope of work that's maybe a few pages long and details everything he's going to do and what standards he's going to follow, what kind of warranty he's going to provide you with, what his insurance coverage is, you know, his compost status, all this kind of thing. That's the guy you might want to look at. Right. So we can walk people through the process and jump in at any point. We're advisors. That's what we're here for. We're consultants out there to help people get through this process.
Right. And I suppose, Blair, one of the advantages to your company, Suprema, and its proximity to all of this here in the Lower Mainland, you're in Chilliwack, for crying out loud. So if there's a custom job or, oops, we under-ordered some of that, we need some more in a big hurry, it's not a big deal to get something shipped in all the way from Chilliwack now, is it?
No, we have local distributors who carry a certain amount of stock in their yards of the stuff that moves all the time. But, you know, the big job might come and hey, some of that's missing. So, yeah, we can get the machine is running all the time pretty much, 2 shifts a day, 4 days a week. So we do quite a bit of material out there, and we can turn it around in probably 48 hours if we really needed to.
Unlike many of your competitors whose manufacturing base is somewhere in the United States, it's going to involve multiple days, even weeks, to have something delivered.
Or Eastern Canada and the rail system.
Yeah, true.
You never know.
That's a consideration when we're making our choices as well. When we want to specify a system, we want the confidence to know that if it's a large project and the suppliers in the local area do run out of the product, that it can be delivered in time for that project to carry on, so the client isn't left with a roof system that's half done for a long time.
Right.
So it's definitely one of the factors we look at when we're choosing the membranes. It's not just the membrane, it's everything else, right? But in the case of Suprema, they do offer very good quality membranes. They've got some high performance membranes that we like to specify because we know that they're going to provide the owners of the buildings with long-term protection.
Right. And typically, Blair, what sort of warranty comes with this from the manufacturer?
Well, I guess there's there's different levels, and depending on the type of building you have, you may choose to use like an association warranty. We're lucky in the province of BC; we have a very strong roofing association with an upper tier, maybe of a certain class of roofers that can offer a third-party warranty to a strata.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would be in conjunction with Sean's services.
The Roofing Contractors Association of British Columbia.
Yeah, that's not a manufacturer's warranty.
No, it's an industry thing.
Yeah. That's a third-party guarantee that's offered by the RCABC. Suprema does have their own warranties as well.
So we can work with that application. We can work with our own. We have a system warranty that we would cover, where that would then involve my field technicians coming out and reviewing right alongside Sean to make sure that that roofer is following our application techniques.
It's fully covered by the warranty, right?
That's right. So then Suprema is taking some responsibility for how it's installed, and that's an upper tier type warranty. And then most manufacturers just give what is called a material warranty, and a friend of mine used to summarize it as if it rots or turns to snot, that's when the manufacturer gets involved. So that was more relying on how we make the product, not how it's installed.
Back to my friend, the Strata manager in Kits. Again, absolutely no knowledge whatsoever of this. And, roofing projects, even in a small strata, you know this better than most, Sean, a roofing project can run you $100,000 in a heartbeat, and a whole lot more than that.
Over $1 million.
Yes, easily. Yes. So again, when you're a civilian, just trying to do the right thing as either a member or the president of a strata council, and they got hundreds, if not dozens, of people, looking to you for some kind of leadership to spend their money wisely, money they hope they don't have to spend in the first place. It's really important to be able to access a pro who's going to be on your side. Yep. And if it's going to cost them a few bucks to have that done, what wiser way to spend the strata owner's money than to have good information before they spend it stupidly?
Exactly.
Well, and talking about warranty, I mean, I'm a big believer in, don't buy something because of a warranty.
Right, okay.
I would rather, if an owner spent the money on a consultant, he's probably going to get everything he needs to worry about covered off properly, as opposed to some manufacturers will use their warranty as a selling tool.
Sure, of course,
right?
Yeah.
And then maybe that warranty is contingent on certain maintenance occurring, and maintenance is something that often isn't done. So there's their out, right?
Right, sure.
Well, Mr. Owner, you didn't do the 2-year maintenance package that we told you to do, so the warranty's void.
Right, exactly.
And that's what the warranty is the last thing that we worry about when we're specifying a roof system.
Sure.
We're dealing with a client. What we want to see is a good roofing contractor that we know is professional and has the equipment and the manpower to do the job properly.
Right.
We want to know that the material that's being installed is a good quality material, regardless of any warranties that are being provided.
Exactly.
We want to know that material is going to, because warranties are just paper. Really, if the product is good and we know it's good from previous history of using it on other projects, we're confident to install it on a building.
Sure.
And then having it inspected while it's being done and making sure it's been specified. If you have those three main components, the good material, the good contractor, and it's inspected, then you got a good chance of getting the most life out of that roof system.
Want to zoom in on the good contractor part of that important trio of facts that you've just stated. Need to take a quick break first. Our guest is Sean Lang, president of Interprovincial Roof Consultants in Cloverdale, BC, joined in studio today by Blair Bennett, BC Regional Manager for Suprema Roof Membrane Manufacturing out there in Chilliwack, and also with offices in Cloverdale. Back with more on Experts on Call once I get my mouth fixed in 2 minutes.
Delivering relevant and beneficial consumer information. This is Experts on Call, and there's more still ahead on AM 650.